You line up in the middle of the fairway. Perfect lie. The ball is sitting up on green grass, begging to be hit. You pull the 3-wood because the green is too far for an iron. You take a big swing, and the ball skips forward 30 yards, hugging the ground like it's afraid to leave. You just topped it. Again, here is what nobody told me for years. You are not topping your fairway woods because you lifted your head. That single lie cost me hundreds of dollars and 3 good seasons of golf. The real reason is something a teacher figured out more than 100 years ago, and it got buried under slow-motion swing videos and $400 clubs. Stay with me, and I'll hand you a drill from 1916, taught by a man who shot par golf on one leg. It needs 1 coin and a patch of grass. No lessons, no new gear, nothing you don't already own. I remember the exact moment it broke me. I was standing on the 12th hole at a little municipal course outside town, dead center of the fairway, and I bladed a 3-wood so thin it never got off the ground, right in front of my 3 buddies. Nobody laughed. That was worse. That was the day I decided I was done guessing. So let me tell you what I did wrong first, because I bet you're doing at least one of these right now. The very first thing anyone ever told me was, keep your head down. You've heard it too. Every weekend, golfer has had it shouted at them by a well-meaning friend. Keep your head down and you'll stop topping it. So I kept my head down. I glued my eyes to that ball. I held my chin against my chest like I was praying to it. And you know what happened? I kept topping it, sometimes worse than before. Here is the uncomfortable truth I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. Your head is almost never the problem. When you jam your head down and freeze it there, you actually stop your body from turning through the shot, and that makes the topping worse, not better. I was fixing a problem I didn't have while the real one sat there untouched. And because I thought I'd tried everything, I did what most of us do. I blamed the club. I told myself the 3-wood was too hard to hit, that it was an unforgiving old head, that I needed something newer, bigger, more forgiving. So I spent, first it was a used 3-wood off the rack for about $90. When that didn't fix it, I stepped up to a shiny new one for $240. Then a fitting session on top of that. I chased the fix with my wallet because that's what I'd been trained to do. None of it worked. I topped the expensive one just as often as the cheap one because you cannot buy your way out of a swing fault. The club was never the villain. And the more I dug, the more I realized that the entire way we're taught to think about fairway woods is designed to keep us confused, dependent, and reaching for our credit cards. Let me show you what's really happening at the moment you top that ball, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every golf swing has a lowest point. The club travels down, reaches the bottom of its arc, and then travels back up. Teachers call it the low point. Think of a jump rope swinging in a circle. There's one spot at the very bottom where it's closest to the ground. Your club head does the exact same thing. Now here's the whole game in one sentence. If the bottom of your swing arc happens behind the ball, the club is already traveling upward by the time it reaches the ball. And a club traveling upward catches the ball on its top half. That's a top, that's the thin, ugly, ground-scraping shot. It has nothing to do with your head and everything to do with where the bottom of your swing lives. So why does the bottom of your swing end up behind the ball? 2 reasons, and I was guilty of both. The first is that you're trying to help the ball into the air. It feels natural. The ball is sitting on the ground, the green is far away, so your instinct says lift it, scoop it, get under it. So at the last second, you hang back on your right foot and flick your wrists upward, trying to launch the ball skyward like you're shoveling snow. And the instant you do that, you move the bottom of your swing backward, behind the ball, and the club rises into the top half. The very move you make to get the ball up is the move that keeps it on the ground. The second reason is that your weight stays on your back foot. If you finish your swing leaning away from the target, hanging back on your trail leg, the whole low point of your swing slides backward with your weight. I used to finish so far back on my right foot I could have fallen over. And I couldn't figure out why the ball wouldn't fly. Now here's where it gets good, because this is where the forgotten knowledge comes in. And this is the part the golf industry would rather you never sit down and understand, because a confused golfer is a paying golfer. Let me take you back to 1916. There was an English golf professional named Ernest Jones. He was a fine player, a club professional with a real future. Then the First World War took him, like it took so many, and in 1916 he lost his right leg below the knee in the fighting. A golfer with one leg? In that era, you'd assume his playing days were finished. Power in golf, everyone believed, came from driving hard off the ground with both legs, from muscle and leverage and force. But Ernest Jones did something that should have rewritten the whole rule book. Not long after losing his leg, while he was still recovering, he went out and shot an 83 over 18 holes, standing on one leg. Later, playing on crutches, records from the time credit him with a 72, even par, or close to it, on one leg. Sit with that for a second. A man with a single working leg was striking the ball flush, getting it airborne, sending it the full distance, while thousands of two-legged weekend golfers were topping it 30 yards down the fairway. How? Because Ernest Jones proved, with his own broken body, that good golf is not about lifting, forcing, or heaving the ball into the sky. He couldn't do those things. He didn't have the leg to hang back on. He couldn't scoop, so he was forced to discover what the swing actually is. And what he found, he spent the rest of his life teaching, first in England, then in New York, where he became one of the most sought-after instructors in America. His teaching lived in a book that plain-spoken golfers passed around for decades, built on 3 words: swing the club head. That's it. Swing the club head. Let the club do the work it was built to do. Don't help it. Don't lift it. Don't force it. Swing it through and let the loft on the face throw the ball into the air for you. And here is the part that finally cracked my whole problem wide open. Look at the face of your fairway wood, tilt it, and look at the angle. It is not flat like a putter. It is built with loft, tilted back, engineered by people who understood physics, specifically so that when the club head moves through the ball on a proper path, the ball climbs into the air on its own. You do not have to get under it. You never did. The club already has the lift built into it. Every single time you tried to scoop the ball up, you were doing a job the club was designed to do for you and doing it wrong. In recent years, launch monitors like TrackMan have measured exactly how the best players in the world strike a fairway wood off the turf. And the measurement stunned me the first time I read it. The average tour professional hits down on a 3-wood off the ground with an angle of attack of roughly -3 degrees. Negative. They are hitting slightly downward on the ball. The best ball strikers alive are not scooping upward at all. They are brushing down and through, letting the low point fall right at or just past the ball, and the loft on the face launches it high and long. The best players hit down to make the ball go up. The amateur tries to hit up, and the ball stays down. That is the entire riddle solved. And I had it backwards for 20 years because the loudest advice I ever got was 3 wrong words shouted across a fairway. So let me tell you what to actually do. And I want you to feel how simple it is compared to everything you've been sold. Ball position first. For a fairway wood off the turf, you want that ball played forward in your stance, but not so far forward you have to lunge for it. Roughly opposite the logo on the inside of your lead heel, or just an inch inside your lead heel. Too far back, and you'll come down too steep. Too far forward, and your club is already climbing when it gets there, which brings the top right back. Get it in that window, just forward of center, and you've done half the work before you even swing. Second, and this is the one that changed everything for me, get your weight moving toward the target as you come down, not hanging back, forward. Your chest, your sternum, the buttons on your shirt, all of it should be drifting toward the target through impact, finishing with your weight stacked over your lead foot. When your weight goes forward, the bottom of your swing goes forward with it, right where the ball is. That is how you move the low point in front of the ball instead of behind it. That one change, weight forward, Took my topping from 3 times around to almost never. Third, trust the loft and stop trying to help. This is a feeling as much as a mechanic. Your only job is to swing the club head through the ball and brush the grass just in front of it. Let the face do the lifting. The moment you stop scooping, the ball starts flying. And that one-legged man's discovery didn't stay buried. Some of it survived in print. And if you want to go deeper before we get back to the drills, I want to tell you how. I put together a set of digital books called First Swing, Deeper Fixes, and Full System. Each one built around exactly this kind of recovered knowledge, the plain, honest mechanics that used to get passed down quietly before the industry buried them. If that interests you, the details are in the description below. It's the same thinking you're getting right now, just taken further at your own pace, away from the noise. Now, with that in mind, let's get back to the modern proof, because I know some of you want numbers, not just an old story. Now, I can already hear some of you, you're thinking, this all sounds fine for people who play 3 times a week, but I'm not that guy. Maybe you're older. Maybe your back is stiff. Maybe you only get out a handful of times a summer and you just want to hit the thing without embarrassing yourself in front of your grandkids. Maybe you're watching this on your television, nowhere near a golf course, thinking there's no way you can practice any of this. This next part is built specifically for you because everything I'm about to show you, you can do in your living room, your backyard, your garage, or the corner of a parking lot with things you already own, and it will fix your topping faster than any lesson I ever paid for. Here's the first one, and it costs you nothing. It's called the Feet Together Drill, and it's older than any of us. Stand with your feet almost touching, heels a couple of inches apart, and make small, smooth half swings. You can do this with a real ball on grass, or with a plastic ball in the backyard, or even with no ball at all, just brushing the grass. Here's the secret of why it works. When your feet are together, you physically cannot hang back on your trail foot. You'd fall over. So your body is forced to stay centered and let the club swing through the bottom naturally. 10 minutes of this teaches your body where the low point belongs better than an hour of me talking. Ernest Jones himself used tiny, balanced swings to teach this exact feel 100 years ago. Here's the second one, and this is where that coin comes in that I promised you at the start. Take any coin, a penny, a quarter, whatever's in your pocket. Set it down on a flat patch of grass or on your carpet. Now, without a ball at all, make swings where your only goal is to brush the coin or clip it on the way through. What this trains is ground contact. You learn to make the bottom of your swing actually reach the ground in a consistent spot. So many toppers never get their club near the ground at all, and they've never once practiced doing it. Brushing a coin costs nothing and teaches the one thing topping golfers are missing, which is a low point that reaches the turf. And here's the third, which you can do sitting in a chair watching this right now. Hold any club, or even a broom, out in front of you, and let your wrists go soft, and swing the head of it back and forth like a pendulum, low and slow, feeling the weight of the head at the bottom of the arc. Feel how the head has weight. Feel how it wants to swing on its own if you just let it. That is the exact feeling Ernest Jones taught his students. And he sometimes taught it with a small weight tied to a string or a handkerchief so the person could feel the head swinging without any club at all. He was proving that the head does the work when you stop fighting it. If you can feel that weight swing freely at the bottom, you already understand more than I did after $200 of lessons. None of that requires you to be young, flexible, or a good athlete. A man with one leg did it. You can do it from a kitchen chair, but let me tell you why almost nobody teaches you these simple things anymore. Because this is the part that made me angry once I saw it clearly. Walk into any golf shop or click on almost any video, and what's the answer to your topping problem? A new club, a more forgiving head, a lower center of gravity, a hybrid to replace the fairway wood entirely because they tell you the fairway wood is just too hard for the average golfer. And that last part is the trick, because when they convince you the club is too hard, they've convinced you to keep buying. A golfer who believes his gear is the problem is a customer for life. A golfer who fixes his low point with a coin and a 10-minute drill never needs them again. I fell for it completely. $90, then $240, then a fitting, then a hybrid I bought just to avoid the 3-wood I was scared of. Added up, and I spent well over $500 trying to buy my way past a fault that a one-legged man solved for free in 1916. That money is gone. I can't get it back. But you can keep yours. And it's not only the equipment, it's the instruction too. The longer you stay confused, the longer you keep paying for lessons that treat the symptom and never the cause. I had a lesson where a man spent $30 of my money telling me to keep my head down. The exact wrong advice. I paid to be sent further in the wrong direction. The whole machine runs on your not understanding the one simple truth, that the ball goes up because the club moves down and forward through the bottom of its arc. Once you own that idea, the machine loses its grip on your wallet. So let me pull all of this together and hand you the finale I promised. The one drill that ties the old knowledge and the modern proof into something you can do this week that makes topping almost impossible. It comes straight from the world Ernest Jones lived in, and it's echoed in the old teaching manuals that came after him, including the work of a teacher named Percy Boomer, an Englishman who wrote a golf instruction book in 1942 that serious players guarded like treasure. The idea running through all of it is the same. Stop obsessing over the ball. Train the bottom of your arc to happen in front of it. Here's the finale drill. On the practice range, or even on a quiet corner of grass, take 2 tees, or 2 coins, or a coin and a leaf, anything small. Place your ball down. Now place a second marker 1 inch in front of the ball on the target side, 1 inch toward where you want the ball to go. And here is the whole secret. Forget the ball entirely. Make your swing with one intention only. Hit the marker that is in front of the ball. Try to take the grass or brush the turf on the target side of the ball, where that second marker sits. What happens when you do this is almost magic, and it's pure physics. To reach a spot in front of the ball, your low point is forced to move forward past the ball. Your weight has to shift toward the target to get there. Your scooping instinct disappears because you can't scoop and still reach a point in front of the ball at the same time. The club catches the ball on the way down, brushes the turf in front, and the loft throws it into the air exactly the way it was engineered to. You will hit the ball flush without ever once thinking about hitting the ball. You'll think only about the spot in front of it. The first time I did this, on a Tuesday evening at an empty range with the sun going down, I hit 5 3-woods in a row dead flush, and I actually laughed out loud, alone, because it was so easy and I'd suffered so long. 20 years of topping gone because I finally aimed at a point 1 inch past the ball instead of at the ball itself. That's the whole thing. That's what a one-legged golfer knew in 1916 and what a launch monitor confirmed 100 years later. The best players hit slightly down and forward, their low point sits in front of the ball, and the loft does the lifting. Do that coin in front drill for 2 range sessions or 2 backyard sessions with a plastic ball, and pair it with the feet together drill to keep your weight from hanging back. That's it. That's the cure I paid over $500 and lost 3 seasons trying to find. It fits in your pocket. It was never lost, really. It was just quietly buried under everything that was easier to sell you. Think about how the knowledge survived. A man loses his leg in a war, and instead of losing his game, he discovers the true secret of the swing because he's forced to. He crosses an ocean and teaches it to thousands. Writers carry it forward into their own books. And then it slowly gets drowned out. Not because it stopped working, but because nobody makes money when you fix yourself with a penny. The truth kept getting passed hand to hand by the people who cared, and now it's in your hands. What you do with it is up to you. So here's what I want you to sit with. You didn't just learn how to stop topping a fairway wood today. You took back something that people quietly profited from you not knowing. Every dollar you don't spend on a club that was never going to fix you, that's yours now. Every round you're not embarrassed on the 12th hole, that's yours. You strike me as the kind of person who'd rather understand the thing than keep paying someone to keep you guessing. That's why you watched this all the way here while other people scrolled past looking for a shortcut to buy. This channel is for people exactly like you, the ones who are done losing quietly and ready to recover the plain, honest knowledge that used to just get passed down. Now, I want to hear from you, and I want you to actually do this because I read them. Tell me this in the comments. How many years have you been topping your fairway woods? And did anyone ever shout, "Keep your head down" at you the way they did at me? Just type the number of years and the words "head down." That's it. I want to see how many of us got sent the wrong direction by the same 3 words. And if you want to stop losing money and start recovering the methods the modern game stopped teaching, come along with us, because the next thing I'm breaking down is the real reason your ball slices hard to the right on the tee, and it's not your grip like everyone told you. It's something happening in the first foot of your takeaway that nobody points out. I found it in an old instruction manual too, and once you see it, that slice you've fought your whole life finally makes sense. Don't top another one, and I'll see you in the next one. This video showed you why you top it. But to walk out and groove the fix, the full coin drill waits inside the Old Ways Almanac. Get stuck? Ask me straight, I answer you myself. No robots, no runaround. Folks just like you are already in there swinging, and you belong right beside them. Just point your phone's camera at the code on screen. Cancel anytime with one click. Come join me.